Kia ora, Lara here, and here is another 14 days of Christmas scrapbook project, and today I'm going to work on another layout. Now this is a layout in response to case file number 401, I believe, over at CSI, and I will link that Facebook group down in the information below if you want to find out a little bit more. So I was inspired by the sort of the retro, the retroness of the image that was there, as well as the colourways. So what I did is I went and created my own sort of cut file. So in Cricut Design Space, I just used the free rounded corner square and made them into a few different sizes and unlocked them to make the oblongs. But before I'd done the unlocking and all that, I actually got a square and then I put another smaller square inside it and sliced it. And then removed the slice piece. So that created those borders there. And then I just sort of dragged them around and changed the shape and the size till it was sort of the way I wanted it in response to that CSI image. Now this doesn't necessarily look particularly Christmassy. It does use sort of the red and some green, but it brings in a little bit of pink and things as well. So the Christmas aspect of this is to do with the photograph, which is a photo of my husband, my daughter, one of my daughter's friends, and I, but I was stopping to take the picture because we were all staring at the pizza oven. So the pizza oven was a Christmas gift. We did open it and use it a bit earlier than Christmas. We've used it for a youth group, pizza nights, and it's just a really nice kind of social, easy meal that people do enjoy. And also had a university friend and her family and her parents pop in. And again, it was just a nice, easy option for meals and for being hospitable to people as they're around, because people can make pizzas and put the toppings and things that they want for their own pizza. So, so it's a Christmas gift that I am documenting here, so that makes it part of the 14 days of Christmas. One of the other things that was in the CSI image is the translucent or the see-through kind of nature of lots of the squares and blocks that were on it. Hence I decided to just play around with some water paints. Now this pink that I'm using probably isn't a good match for the colourway of the image, but it is a pink, and I think it fitted nicely with the colours that I've got there going on as well. So with the cut file, you saw me using liquid glue to adhere that down, and then I'm just using these water paints to fill in the gaps, and I've stuck that down onto another piece of the white daisy cardstock. So it's not a perfect image, and that's what I love about watercolour paints, is that they don't have that same perfection. So I'm going to pop that aside just to let it dry, and I'm going to sort of mount the photograph on, first up, just some white daisy cardstock. And then I'm going to bring in a few pattern papers that fit with that colour scheme. So this is a freshly baked piece of paper. It's got lots of the dots. It does bring in a yellow and a bluey colour that's not really part of it. And I'm going to bring out the pink and green sort of plaid paper. And I'm looking through there looking for a piece that has already been cut into, and found it. So I'm going to use this limey green colour, which is part of the colour scheme of that the case file, and I'm going to flip it over, and I think I end up using the other side as well, but I've got this pink stripe here that I'm going to use as well, that I think fits the pinks better. So just roughly sticking these down and then cutting around them so that it's not a perfectly shaped border, but it is nice enough. So by putting those borders around it, I've created a little bit of a separation from that background. So the photo and the mats have a little bit of variation around them in there as well. So just used some foam tape here to mount them. A couple of reasons: I wanted to lift up from the background, but I also wanted it to be able to sit evenly, and with the cut file underneath, because there'll be slightly raised bits and bits that are slightly not raised, the 3D tape just really helps to give that sort of even stick or that even levelling. And after wrinkling up the papers, I am quite happy with how that photo mat's looking. And so now it's time to add a little bit of lettering. So I'm bringing out the black acrylic lettering, and I'm going to sort of pop that up there, and the title's going to be Watching pizza cook, which you can see there. And because these are acrylic, I'm going to again use that liquid glass to stick all of them down. I'll do most of them off screen, and you can see that I've got them there. And now it's time to add a little bit of journaling. So I'm using a black journaling pen and just tucking that down the bottom right beside that title, and I won't make you watch me go through that whole process as well. So I'm turning my mat over here because I am going to bring in some stamps. So the CSI image, if you check the links below and you'll be able to go and see what that looks like. It sort of had lots of stuff going on. It had wreaths, it had bows, it was a really busy image, and it had people in it and stuff as well. So my photo is my people. I've got those colours in the background, and I've sort of tried to have that retro feel with the rounded corner squares. And I'm just bringing in a few stamps that have got some nice little elements to them that I think fits really nicely with both the layout and with the case file that we were working with. So here, just cleaning around the ink around the edge as well. I've got a few florals that I'm going to tuck in and just popping them at different places just to sort of surround the image. So pulling off the acrylics and just sticking them in some different places. A few stars, a little bit Christmassy. Yeah, quite enjoying just sort of playing around with some of these stamps that sometimes don't really see the light of day, but I do need to use them a bit more. And here is a sort of circle wreath, and there was a few wreaths sort of hanging in the image as well. And I'm going to try and tie this into sort of groups of 3, creating a little bit of a triangle of interest with the stamping and the way I'm sort of placing these onto the page. You can sort of see a couple of clusters appearing as part of this. So again, just popping in some more shapes. So these are sort of some little pluses. Just adds a nice little soft texture there. And then having a look and seeing, as I'm doing the voiceover, I'm like, which stamps did I use next? So there was a cute little house. I chose that one because we're here at home. And popping in a few other bits and pieces. So I think this is another little floral stamp that I'm popping on there as well. And I'm going to pull out this set here. So part of what I'm going to put on now is some borders. So I need a slightly longer stamping block. And for the sake of time, I'm just moving quickly with this rather than finding the perfect size. And these are a series of bows, which fits really nicely because there was lots of ribbons tying presents in the original image that the CSI group had shared for us to take inspiration from. And I've sort of found this swirly, doodly kind of one that I thought looked quite nice up the top there. And it did leave a bit of a black smudge, so you can sort of see that up the top left there because I hadn't quite cleaned the edge of the ink block. But when you're doing stamping, it's an easy way to be able to fix up some of that by just putting something else in place to add a little bit more interest to it. So I've chosen a few different stars again here, and I'm going to note hearts actually, and I'm going to put them at a few different spots around the page just to finish it off. So popping those away now, there was another colour in the colour scheme for this case file, and it was sort of an avocado colour. So I've gone into my tri-blend markers and I've got my sort of glitter gems here, and I'm just using the dark colour to colour them up, and it just adds a really nice finishing touch. And I love how these markers dry really quickly, and how you can change the colour of them so simply just with these markers. So definitely worth getting a few of those in some colours you like, because then it makes the silver sparkles or these clear glitter sparkles a whole lot more versatile to use. So here's the finished layout and a few close-ups of it. Make sure you check below for links to the CSI, for links to the 14 days of Christmas. And if you've enjoyed this video and you've got some inspiration from it, I hope you'll either leave a comment or, if you haven't already, subscribe. I am about 15 subscribers away from reaching 1,000 and really love to get there. So thanks again for watching this. Hope you have a great Christmas.